I am not in any way trying to go against mentorship. I believe, matter of fact, I know that mentorship, as far as men and boys are concerned, is greatly needed. However, you must be very careful and you must vet those who you lend your boys, especially your boys and girls, pardon me. They're both equally important, pardon me for sounding otherwise. But you must vet these so-called mentors and coaches and guidance counselors, etc., because most of them have hidden motives that go under the radar or come out down the line after the damage has been done. Now I'm going to give you a brief 43-year odyssey, which in doing so I'm kind of telling my age. But I'm going to give you a brief synopsis / odyssey of my personal experiences with mainly black men as mentors over the past 43 years, going back to 1979, when I grew up in the projects. And I don't know if it was rocky or whatever, but in 1979, I lived in the new projects, and there was a projects across the tracks called the old projects. But all the brothers who were in my age range, 13 years old, we were in the 8th grade, all of us went to the South 2nd Street Youth Center to join up for the boxing team. Now, me and my brother Burl, not my brother, but my friend Burl, we grew up together. We grew up in the new projects together. And we actually, out of the new projects youngsters our age, we were the best boxers that qualified. We went down there, and the coach, his name was Davenport. Now Davenport is an interesting character, and I held bitterness towards him for a long time, and I'm still not fully over the mistreatment and abuse that I and other brothers suffered under his coaching / mentorship. But anyway, me and Burl, and like I said, we grew up together, and out of all the boxers, we used to box regularly with the boxing gloves in the hood, in the projects, and they would be literal damn near bloodbaths, usually orchestrated by the older brothers who are 13 or maybe 15, 16 years old, who really used us for entertainment. However, me and Burl actually were the best in the new projects. And the brothers that all swarmed at that time, Davenport put us under a rigid, damn near impossible training that actually me, Burl, and another brother by the name of Ian Rose passed. I want you to remember him, Ian Rose. Interesting brother, another good boxer. And actually the only boxer that actually during that time hit me so hard that I'm so grateful that the last bell went off. Because he hit me and I was literally out on my feet, and the bell ending the round went off and actually saved me a knockout. But he was a great boxer also. So we're all in the 8th grade. We beat the cut. And we have a tournament. I believe this was in June of 1979 at the Lou Costello Boxing Center in Paterson, New Jersey, which was actually named after, what's his name, Bud Abbott. The brother, the little fat dude that played in Abbott and Costello. The gym was named after him. Lou Costello, who once was a boxer himself, had a nice little amateur career before he blew up and went to acting. So, this night, it's our first fights. It's a tournament, and you know the energy is high. It's me, Burl, and Ian's first fight. I fight that night. I fight a white boy. We're both 13. And during the fight, I do well the first round. The second round, I run out of gas. And we're fighting, but I'm doing more roping than anything. And during that second round, Davenport was cursing in my ear and telling me I better fucking listen to him and I'm gonna kick my ass. He was saying all kinds of shit in that corner. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What? I'm in a stupor. So anyway, third round comes. Same thing. I'm worn out. I lose the fight by decision. We're walking. He lifts the rope up because he had a thing about if he lift that rope up and you didn't go under that rope, there was going to be a problem. But I didn't discover that until that night. I went through the rope properly, but because in his mind I didn't follow his boxing instructions, that dude, when we got to the hallway, he gave me a Pimp Slap that I've never experienced in my entire life. And that shit shocked me so terribly that I was mind blown. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But he slapped me, and I go in there and I change up. I'm all stunned and shit. So I go back, after getting changed, I go back to the audience, and Burl fights. Now Burl, mind you, like I said, Burl, we grew up together, and Burl was a little bit slow. And we didn't realize that until we got to junior high school and we divided from elementary, and people were divided according to their intellectual levels. And we didn't know that Burl was considered slow academically. So he got put on a special bus and went to a school called Lincoln, which is another story. However, he still functioned regularly and normally like everybody else. He was just given that label because he didn't pass the white man's aptitude test. So anyway, he goes up to fight. And he fights a Mexican brother that's a lot shorter than him. And the first round, he beats the boy to death. But the boy survives. And Burl loses all his steam. The second round, Burl was totally out of gas. And the third round, the boy damn near knocked him out. And Burl lost the fight. But during the second round, Davenport was so mad at Burl for running out of gas the way he did, he slapped him in the corner during the fight in front of the whole audience. Now, let me just give you some history on this Davenport. And my brother by the name of Harold the Shadow Knight will attest to this, because he was really the only champion, real champion, that Plainfield South 2nd Street produced. Although we had Albert Steele Mills and Brian Jenkins, Harold the Shadow Knight was the only one who made it to that championship status where he fought Rocky Lockridge. So anyway, he was one of the contemporaries that was there that night. I guess he was probably about 14, 15 at the time. We're 13. And see, Harold came from a two-family household, which made a difference as well, because Davenport didn't fuck with him. But he knew that we came from single households from the projects, so he was extra hard on us because he knew there would be consequences if you messed with certain people. So anyway, slaps Burl. Burl loses the fight. Burl goes into the dressing room, comes back out for the additional fights. Ian fights. Ian Rose goes in there. And Ian looked like he was one of them brothers that short, dark skin. He looked like I wouldn't say a Ninja Turtle, but he was built like a Ninja Turtle. And he had a hard face to be a youngster. And he had hands. So he fought that night, and he won. But where he fucked up at was after he won, Davenport had the rope up and open. This fool bypassed the opening of that rope. He was so excited that he won. He's walking around like this, like the heavyweight champ of the world. And he bypassed Davenport. And when he came back around again, Davenport let him out. He gave him a pass. So anyway, it was probably a fight or so after ours. it was over. We're in the locker room. You could hear a pin drop. And another thing I must tell you about this Davenport, give you a quick synopsis of this character. He was like Mickey from Rocky. In height, in stature, he was just about 20 years younger. He probably was about 40 at the time. And you can't make this shit up. He actually was so short, he drove a car called a midget. So number one, he had a Napoleonic complex. Then I didn't realize till later on that he had a broken nose, because his ass was getting whipped as a fighter, and he never made it to the point of being a champion or even someone who was remembered as being a great boxer. So he had a lot of shit going on inside of him with the Napoleonic complex, the failed professional career, and he took it out on the youth, those who had no parents. And it was a time I thought if I ever saw him, if he's in a wheelchair, I would push his ass down the flight of steps. But I'm not there no more. I might slap the shit out of him now, but because he did a lot of damage to the black community, to the hood. And me and Burl, us three, and Ian, we were potential champions. We were in there demolishing shit. I remember a brother by the name of Abdul Akram. He used to be my sparring partner. And I ended his career. I knocked his ass out. He quit. So we were really great boxers. And this warp-minded psychopath caused all of us to quit. Because he actually drove us out. Because he hated himself, first and foremost. And he breathed that Mickey spirit on everybody of potential who didn't agree with him or he didn't like. So that's one encounter with coaching and mentorship that gave me a certain outlook at an early age. And not just him, but witnessing other coaches. Now, fast forward with my son. I have a son who's 27 years old. And when I had the unfortunate event of going to prison, he was 16 years old. And based on, I guess, the upbringing that I was able to give him, he actually weathered the storm, graduated high school, and he started working for a community group out here that did work with children, with young adults. And my son was excelling in that in particular group. And he spoke before the state legislature. He was doing things because it's in his DNA. He was taught to be an activist, to do what's right and to help and improve his community. This brother who I knew, and actually who just recently brought a book from me, but I didn't know what he did to my son. I knew my son got fired, but I didn't know that he came up with the excuse that this work isn't for you. My son helped them get grant money. My son is charismatic. My son is good looking. My son has all the attributes of a great man. And he saw that in my son, and he disconnected him from doing great works at that point in time. But he's not stopping shit, because his great works are still going to be done. However, I don't know if he found out that that was my son and tried to disassociate himself from my son because of me being in the pen at the time or whatever. He still made up an excuse, which was invalid, to remove my son from a state of progress and development that he could have assisted him into being or going to the next level. Same happened when he played at Grant High School in Del Paso Heights. My son was destroying current NFL players that play on San Francisco right now. My son was running over them. Here we are with a black coach. Found a way to undermine my son from going to college, from continuing in the program that he mastered at the school. He was the captain of the defense team. He was the fastest. He hit the hardest. They feared my son. But a black coach, mentor. My son called himself Elijah Muhammad. He dropped his slave name. He was up there representing young black manhood. And a black mentor, a coach, found a way to get rid of him. Now today, my son, I have a grandson. My grandson's been playing for the last 3 years. I stopped going to his games. I stopped because, number one, the games are full of belligerent, obnoxious, single black mothers screaming and yelling like men. But even worse than that, you have these beta simps, these coaches, who are not out there. They're not out there to win. They're not out there for the benefit of the children. They're out there to get some punani. My grandson is damn near 5'5" at 8 years old. The fastest on the team. Can catch, could run, could do all kinds of marvelous things for his age group. And these coaches let a little 2'2" boy and another one that's probably a little bit taller than him run the main plays. Every time the little boy get the ball, he's getting thrown 10 feet back and fumbling, and the opposite team running in for a damn touchdown. But they would play these weak players because they trying to get some pussy. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And this shit been going on. And I told my son last year, I love my son, I love grandson, I love the sport, but I'm not fucking with that Negro ass bullshit at them football games. Hoochie mama ass single mamas out there dressing half naked and shit. You can't even concentrate on the game because they're in front of the cheerleaders bent over. It's insane. It's fucking insane. And there's so much more I can talk about in regards to these sick ass mentors and coaches who have issues. You must vet them. Find out their history. Find out if they've been like former athletes. Check their history. You know, what kind of temperament, what kind of abilities did they display or didn't display? What happened to their careers? See, all of that. You know, where they come from. Do they come from a broken home? You know, are they sex offenders? These coaches and mentors. And once again, I don't even like the word mentor because mentor was a child molester. Mentor, historically, is a pedophile. People, the rich sent their children, their boys to mentor for him to teach them, but the fee was that mentor had his way with your boys. So no, I have a problem. I have a serious problem, a serious issue with these so-called black mentor men and coaches. Most of them have issues. Even though that's a low level of power, power is one of the things that they're in it for. Telling people what to do. Acting like they're the boss. You know? The shit goes deep from a psychological perspective. So I have a problem with most mentors. And I'm telling my son constantly Take our grandson, my grandson, put him in a school that's diverse. Put him in a football team, on a football team that's diverse. That's diverse, and they could see and appreciate his gifts and assist him in the development of those gifts. Otherwise, these hater-ass black mentors are going to find a way to cut his roots. And it's a sad reality, but goddamn it, it's the truth. And that's why I have a problem with most of them. They have ulterior motives. They're sick. They have issues, unresolved issues, and they take them out on the children. More later. Peace.